It's bonus stuff, everyone. We just got done talking about Starfield. It was our final review, so go check that out. But for this bonus stuff, we thought we'd give you some extra spooky time, and we're going to review two movies real fast. The first one is called Hulu. It's not called Hulu. It's on Hulu. It's called No One Will Save You. I saw this, and I really liked it. And then Michael does this thing where we have to give him movies to watch. So I'm like, hey, watch this. And I also told Jared and my other brother to watch it, and the other brother did, but Jared took some convincing. So basically, this movie is directed and produced by a man named Brian Duffield, and it stars Caitlin Dever, who you might know from Last Man Standing.
Oh, that was her?
Okay. Yeah. I don't know if you guys know that show, but me and Jared did. So, but basically, just to go real fast over the plot, this girl lives by herself in her house, and she's been ostracized from the community. So no one likes her. They all give her dirty looks. So she really doesn't have it. And you learn like why during the movie. But so this all takes place during an alien invasion. So strange things are happening around town, and it's called No One Will Save You because no one really wants to help her, and she's kind of on her own during this alien invasion. I thought this movie was cool because by the fact that it has almost like no dialogue in it, which my brother was talking about, and he's like, well, it's kind of like A Quiet Place. But in A Quiet Place, there's no dialogue because of the narrative. It kind of demands, it's built into the plot. Can't talk because the aliens will find you. But in this one, there's no dialogue because it's basically symbolic of her being isolated from this community. No one wants to talk to her, so she doesn't have anyone to talk to. And it's just, I thought it was cool how it kind of symbolizes her isolation. But yeah, I recommended it to these guys, and I want to hear what they have to say. So Jared, let's go to you first.
Go to Michael first.
You always do that, Michael.
But you always choose wrong.
Michael, what did you think of No One Will Save You?
I landed kind of very middle of the road with this one. Like, first of all, like, I feel like this movie is shot extremely well. It's a very, very beautiful movie. I like the aliens. I like the kind of weird kind of presence they brought, especially when they're like trying to suck things through walls and stuff, or like, especially that scene where she's against the ceiling and it's like red and everything, and she kind of falls slow motion. I love that. One of my big complaints about this is the kind of reasoning at the end, where you kind of learn, because we're gonna talk full spoilers for this. Yes. Okay. So like learning that because like you, throughout the whole movie, you're like, why? It kind of has that mystery that holds you in, and I'm gonna say it's like Old Boy, and everyone's gonna be pissed at me because it's like you have that mystery. What did she do so wrong? What happened? Whatever. And in Old Boy, I was upset with the fact that it wasn't that big of a deal, and that guy did all that crazy stuff for nothing. In this one, it seemed like, you're following her, and it's like, oh, she's trying to integrate herself and talk to people still. It must not have been that bad, or it was an accident or something happened. And you get back to it, and it's like, no, she just literally bashed this kid in the head with a rock. It's like, you do something like that, you leave, and you don't get or in jail, you leave the town. You don't stay there. Like, why are you still here? Why are you trying to make friends with people? You killed their daughter. It's like, what is happening? That killed me. That killed me for the movie. But that is interesting. You brought up the no talking, because I didn't really understand that until you brought it up. Because I was like, I didn't see the purpose for it, because I thought the same thing while I was watching this. I was like, it reminds me in the sense of A Quiet Place, but A Quiet Place has the purpose for no talking. So I feel like having that doesn't make sense in that sense with her, but I feel like it also could have been interesting if she was like super talkative just to herself. Like, she kind of just like almost in that kind of crazy sense of self narrating her own life. That would have been interesting. But that doesn't make a little more sense, because I was very confused by that. I was like, why is there no dialogue in this, except for like maybe 4 or 5 words?
And that truck driver
going, oh, Jared and I were laughing pretty hard at that. But yeah, I feel like it just kind of didn't go really anywhere for me in this one. I was interested, but not really gripped by it, and then overall let down by her or by the reasonings of what was going on, rather than it being more creative. In the end, it's just like, oh, she bashed her with a rock. I'm like, good lord, then get the heck out of there. Like, you did that. But like I said, I feel like what really stands out of this movie is the visuals and how it's shot, and kind of that tension that it brings with the aliens. Because that was my whole thing. I was like, I want to know what the heck's going on, and I feel like I would like more to it, because like it ends in that kind of strange way where she lives in her own world, where the aliens kind of, hey,
accept her.
you're some weird crazy girl, but you're kind of fun to be around.
you killed a bunch of us. You're cool.
You got rid of Bob for us. But that
got real chutzpah in this one.
I did love the weird kind of like,
what was that, Jared?
Dancing.
Oh, you heard me.
Oh, the Indians.
Oh yeah, he was cool.
I like those, and then like the really big one was kind of doing it. They're kind of like weird. I love that kind of.
Oh yeah.
Giving the kind of voice to the aliens, but not without talking. I mean, just kind of like the weird guttural noises, or it reminds me of have you guys read Hail Mary Project?
Yes.
No.
Oh my god, both of you have you guys read The Martian?
No.
Oh my god,
Yes.
2 books. Thank you, Thomas. Jared, Joseph.
I didn't like the way The Martian was written. I read the first 3 chapters and I didn't really like.
Okay, well, never mind, Jared. Then you've confused me, because I feel like no one dislikes these books. They're amazing. Joseph, let's listen or read to both of these books, please. They're amazing, and Hail Mary Project is so interesting in how it deals with certain things of like this, what's going on. But anyway, I won't go further to that. But anyway, so yeah, that's kind of where I landed on this movie. It's kind of in the middle. Cool visuals, good acting, but yeah, just didn't grip me.
One thing that it didn't bother me, but I was like, it's like a mystery. How does she make money? Like, how does she?
That's another thing. I was like, this house is really nice. Like, it had to be given to her, and like, who sells her stuff? Like, why? Who? Like, yeah.
The whole
like
beginning, we couldn't even tell if she was an adult.
That's another. Yeah, Jared and I were like, is she a child? What is happening?
Your Honor, I couldn't tell.
She must have like a real good trust fund or something.
Yeah, there has to be. She has to be. I don't know. Maybe she like sells stuff on Etsy or something.
Well, I thought,
that's what I thought. Like, because she has those houses, so it's like an artist that sells stuff. So maybe they could explain that. Jared, what did you think about this movie?
I let Michael go because he's a little more positive on it.
Okay.
This movie frustrated the crap out of me. I was like doing this to Michael.
He was.
So I liked how it was like there's no dialogue except for the one line. I wish they just didn't have that line. We can obviously see she's like regretful and like feels bad, so I didn't really need it. It didn't like bring any emotion to it for me. It was like, I don't know. You should have just had it all silent. But the positive thing was I love the aliens. I love their jittery movement. I love their like Squidward interpretive dance. That was cool. I like when you're in their spaceship. It was kind of like that one movie with Scarlett Johansson.
Oh,
what is it? Is that one called?
Scarlett Johansson.
Under the Skin?
Under the Skin, yeah. It's kind of like that.
You know what? I got vibes of no, I forget what it's called. What's that movie with dang it, the one with the aliens that like their hands and they talk with their hands, and it's got Jeremy Renner and
you're talking about Arrival?
Arrival?
Yeah, I got kind of
Arrival.
vibes of that.
Talk with their hands. That's not their hands. That's
They
their
were
body.
giant. They were giant hands.
They're giant hands. They're the master.
They look like squids, not hands.
They look like hands. They go like.
Must be a brother's thing or something. I thought they looked
They're
like squids.
literal hands, dude.
Sure, whatever.
But yeah, I got the aliens vibe from them because they're like basically they emphasize with her. Because they're like, oh, you feel bad. We feel bad for you.
But it was like this whole alien invasion was just to help her cope with her Like it was specifically for her to get over what she was dealing with. It was maddening because they're like as soon as her trauma's over, oh, she's cool.
Well, it's also like she's not the good guy in this, and they're like, "No, we're just gonna help you out here. Just give you the world, and everyone else can be alien zombies."
There was cool visuals, cool things like when that little squishy thing went in her mouth.
Oh, that was yucky.
Oh, that was cool. But yeah, there's cool stuff in it, but it was frustrating. The whole ending pissed me off. Like
the dancing,
it was all for her. This whole thing was for her. It was so weird because if it has to be because if they were just aliens that help people with trauma, there'd be more humans, not just her.
Yeah, they just
probably see there's UFOs everywhere in the sky.
Yeah, they're just like. Oh man,
they're just psychiatrist aliens.
Yes,
the very specific clientele.
They're not Scientologists.
I'm listening.
It was frustrating. I don't know if I like this movie or what.
Okay, interesting. I'm glad I recommended it. I didn't expect those takes from it, but I'm glad you guys gave them. So like I said, that one's on Hulu if you want to check it out. Our next one is a movie I watched 2 years ago and expected to talk about, and we never did. So you guys are going to have to really help me with what this movie was about. The movie is called Possum, and it is written and directed by Matthew Holness, and this is his first movie. And it stars Sean Harris, the guy you might know, the weird talking guy from Mission Impossibles.
Indeed.
The Green Knight.
So, what I can remember about this movie, basically, it's all about the atmosphere. The atmosphere is really creepy. It's about this guy who's like a puppeteer, right?
Yeah.
And he's going back to his old house where his uncle lives. Is it his uncle?
His uncle.
Okay, his uncle lives there. And his uncle's kind of mean to him. There's this
weird to him.
There's this room that he's always tempted to go into, but he doesn't because it's kind of scary. And there's a missing kid in town, and basically the guy walks around town during the movie, and that's pretty much what I remember. So Thomas, have you seen Possum? No? Okay. Poor Thomas hasn't got to talk much in this.
I wasn't aware we were supposed to watch it, so
I told you I was going to watch. I told you I was going to watch both these movies before this time.
You said you were going to watch
2 years ago, we were supposed to watch.
So, 2 years ago.
Possum. Who wants to go first? Jared, am I going to pick right?
I don't remember it that much.
Am I going to pick right?
I was going to let Michael talk about it and comment.
Okay, Michael, you get to go first on Possum.
Do you want like an overview of it? Do you want final?
So let's just for your first off, what did you think?
Yeah, just give us your whole experience with this movie.
This should have been a short film.
I can see that.
The acting in this is incredible. Like you said, the atmosphere is incredible in this movie. So do you care about spoilers, Thomas? Because this movie is basically one big spoiler.
Yeah.
Go for it.
It's a very metaphorical movie where he's talking like the whole movie. He has this puppet. It's like you would actually hate this movie, Thomas. It's like a spider puppet, but with a
I'm out
with the face of Voldemort. With the face of Voldemort. And so the whole movie, he's like trying to get rid of it and trying to convince himself to burn it. And seemingly so, it's kind of being a metaphor for him trying to get rid of his trauma or even he's using this in some sort of escapist mode to the fact where you learn at the very end that his uncle was actually the one who caused, because they allude back to missing kids back in the day whenever he was young. One of his friends, there's an incident that happened, and it turns out that his uncle was the one that was like just sexually abusing him, stealing these kids and everything, and doing a lot of messed up stuff. So that's what you find in that last room is just this like bloody match. It's very disturbing, very impactful imagery. But holy crap, was I so bored in this movie.
Dang.
Dude, I was beyond. Like there were, it just like if this was a 30-40 minute short film, this would literally be 10 out of 10 amazing. But these shots of just pointlessness wandering and just putting this there, and I'm sure there's like meaning and like kind of a pattern that he has going through it. I was not paying attention enough to actually get that. Like I was like, just get to the next point in this movie. Like I could not believe how bored I was in this, and not once was I scared in this movie, which just surprised me because I expected to be frightened.
Yeah,
and I
it's
was like,
not
there's
a
nothing
scary movie. It's just that atmosphere.
It's that tone,
it's creepy.
and there's a couple like weird moments where you get that spider face man thing up in there, and you're like, whoa, okay, back off there. But it was very, very creepy, but it didn't scare me. Or like whenever he's that's such a good shot where he's standing there and it's hanging on the wall in that oval mirror in his room. Oh, it's such good shots in this movie. But man, like yeah, that's my biggest takeaway with this is it should have been a short film because it's a very, I'm not gonna say simple because it's definitely not a simple concept, but it's like how they go about approaching it is very minimal. It's not like they're doing this whole big story. It's like literally just them two, and then there's one other actor that plays a guy that tells him to get off the school property, and then a few kids that aren't really in it. But those are the only talking roles really. And so it just could have been so much tighter because it was an hour and 25 minutes, I think. I'm like, that's just way too long for this kind of movie. It could have been like if it's an episode length of a show. If this was like what are those?
Like
anthologies, kind of like
anthology.
Yeah, man, would have been amazing. But that's my biggest gripe with it is it was, just dragged on for me. But apart from that, all the other positives really, really high. Everything that just unfortunately dragged it down. Yeah.
Your thoughts?
No, just finally watched it. No,
finally watched it.
Yeah.
Michael likes to get over his trauma with aliens and
aliens.
Okay.
They're both movies about past trauma.
Oh, true. There you go. But yeah, I think definitely the more over because I'm gonna go back into Letterboxd. At first, I was like, I didn't really like that much, but the more I think about it, if it was just a short film, so we're gonna.
That's true. There was like a theme to our movie. Sure,
that's true.
Okay. Hold on. Let me close this.
Every time something happens, that scares me. When I'm like, because Hattie just hit the side of the desk. I thought she unhooked something. I was like, no more ball. Take the ball.
So the only thing you have to know about the box office
disgusting.
Taylor Swift just prints money.
Oh my god! Holy crap!
I hate the world we live in.
She just.
The only reason this is doing so well though is because there's nothing to watch in theaters right
this
now.
Would go
no. This is.
I'm trying to rationalize this.
There is no ration
stuff, man. Like
this is a cult. It's just a cult.
Is a religion.
She can just.
I don't understand why. Why?
I know. We tried to figure it out in chat. We couldn't figure it out.
Though we did learn that Joseph holds a ranking of Ana de Armas at 8, and I can't get over that. I don't know why.
I'm very strict. Okay.
I don't understand that one. Taylor Swift, I kind of get. Like, I understand why. Well, Ana de Armas, really, dude? Really?
She's cute.
No, she's cute.
I just dropped the water bottle. All right. Watch list. So I only watched 2 movies, so I'll go real fast. Watched Guy Ritchie's The Covenant. Very good movie. It's about this guy who was in a unit where they had this Afghani interpreter. Stuff went down. Basically, only the guy survived because the interpreter kind of dragged him through the desert. So the rest of the movie is Jake Gyllenhaal plays the guy, and he's trying to get the interpreter out because the Taliban knows the interpreter. He becomes like a local hero because he defied the Taliban, so everyone wants to kill him in that country. And the guy who plays the Afghani interpreter, man, really good actor. He just knocked it out of the ballpark. But yeah, really good movie. I was surprised because when I first saw the trailer, I was like, didn't really.
Is it based on a real story?
Yes, it is based on a real story. They show the guys after the movie ends. But yeah,
is it like timeline wise? Is it like when America like pulled out of Afghanistan?
No,
Okay.
they were still in it.
Okay.
But yeah, if you like war dramas, if you like Soul Survivor, it's like on that. Very different from Guy Ritchie's other stuff. So I thought
It didn't look like one of his movies.
not at all. It doesn't feel like one of his movies at all. But yeah, I liked it. And then I watched Reptile on Netflix. It's not Guillermo, Benicio del Toro. Alicia Silverstone is in it, plays his wife. It's a kind of a thriller mystery. It is slow, man. That movie is a slow moving. It's a slow burn, definitely. So I got done watching it. I saw a comment about it, and it's like, this movie just looks so great. This movie looks like because I also watched The Staircase is on HBO Max. It's a mini series. Very interesting case. It's weird because it's based on a Netflix movie. So it's an HBO movie based on a Netflix movie. Yeah. But man, that case is it goes everywhere. It just twists and turns the whole time. But one thing, and then we're currently watching Fall of the House of Usher, which we'll review. But it's just like everything looks the same. Like on streaming, everything just looks and sounds the same. It's weird. It's weird that they would have the reaction that this movie just looks so great because it just looks like everything else. But it's a real slow movie. I don't even know if I recommend it. Justin Timberlake's in it. He looks really old now.
He does look old. I watched Hot Ones of NSYNC, and on the close-ups, I was like, "Geez, he is aged." Because like he was like the same looking for years and years.
Yeah.
And finally, just
all of a sudden, yeah.
He's like the second youngest looking though out of the group though. Just saying.
Well, Lance Bass is kind of like immortal.
That's what I'm saying. Lance did not age at all. Yeah, and I think he just got more defined in his cheekbones,
and his voice is deeper somehow.
Yeah. But Justin is like the second most looking.
Real fast. Joey Fatone looks like everyone's uncle.
That poor man.
But yeah, the Reptile. I mean, if you like. It's got an interesting story. It just takes forever to get there, man. It's real slow.
Was it the same quality of Netflix movie like we were watching, like back with House 6?
Yeah, it's a little better than that, I would say. It's more of an HBO kind of true crime. Because I watch a lot of true crime on HBO, so it's like that. But it's just really slow. That's all I had. I'm pretty sure. Real fast. This was funny because Michael was just talking about it. So I have never listened to an audiobook because I like reading. I really enjoy reading a book. But I got this thing where they're like, hey, we'll give you 2 free audiobooks if you sign up. You know, in this economy, it's hard to go buy books. So I'm going to finally do it. I'm going to listen to an audio. I have a lot of traveling to do this month, so I'm going to listen to the audiobook. I don't know which one to listen to. What do you guys think I should listen to? Michael, what did you say again?
Either The Martian or Hail Mary Project, both by the same author.
Okay.
Go with the Hail Mary Project. I think you'd like that one.
I feel like you would definitely like Hail Mary Project more.
Okay. So
raise about that one.
Get Blood Meridian. Actually, if you do you have the Audible subscription?
Yeah.
It's free right now.
Okay.
So you can add it to it.
All right. So those are some good recommendations, and I'll probably not go with any of them. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
I'm just gonna go with Star Trek. And
no, he's not. He's not kidding. They have Star Trek audiobooks.
They do. So I was like, ooh, do that.
I do. I own a few, so I'm just saying.
So
they have First Contact on there.
So maybe in a month, you'll see my review on a bonus stuff.
Let's just talk about First Contact. That movie is not that good.
What?
I'm just kidding.
What is wrong with you?
I'm just
What's
kidding.
wrong with you? What's wrong with you?
I'm thinking of Insurrection.
No, that movie's not good.
That movie's trash.
Alright.
I'll go real fast. I have 2 movies.
Okay, go ahead.
The first one I watched was The Boogeyman, based off Stephen King.
Why'd you say
That's
it like
already
that?
out.
The Boogeyman. It's The Boogeyman.
Boogeyman?
Let's-
Oh, was
what-
it
how else
Boogeyman?
do you want? How else do you say it?
Look at me.
Do you want me to say it? I watched The Boogeyman.
There you go.
Yes.
Okay. So I watched it. It's okay. It's not good, not bad. There's a scene where a little girl gets thrown into a TV. It's hilarious. But yeah, it's just okay. And then I watched Renfield. I like Nicholas Holt, and it's got
Nicolas Cage.
Nicholas Cage.
Dracula Cage.
So I was like, of course I'm gonna watch this. I almost stopped watching it like in the beginning. The beginning was terrible. And then like midway through, it's okay. It's actually pretty fun.
Remember the beginning.
It's got Sonic the Hedgehog in it.
It does, dude. He's great and everything, though, man.
It's kind of weird hearing him because like I associate him with Sonic now, and then he's like cussing, and I'm like, this is weird.
Whoa.
You're like, no, Sonic, no.
I was like, that's no good. But yeah, at first it's so bad. Like the dialogue was terrible, and it's just really dumb. But it got pretty engaging in the midway through. Stop laughing at everything. The only YouTube that I'm recommending this time, I didn't watch much, is its content. It's pretty much just skits of these Boston deli workers. It's hilarious.
That sounds cool.
Yeah,
Is that
it's
the one
pretty
that's
funny.
like where a union guy comes in for
Yeah,
an Italian sub's like, oh, put extra mayo. We don't put mayos on
we don't do the
Italian bread.
mayo.
We don't do the mayo.
He's like, what's wrong with the little? And he throws a pickle at him.
Yeah. Yeah. The mob comes in. He's like, I used to run this joint. And he's like, we don't care.
The first one I watched was the one where the dude comes in and he's got like a Patriots hat and like jersey, and he's like, oh hey, we support the men in blue, and he's like, I'm not a cop, I don't know why you're saying that, and he's like, it's fine, we get it, but we do support them, so you get a discount. He's like, I'm not a cop. He's like, what are you talking about? You got the hat, you got the khakis on, you're obviously a cop. And he's like, no. And then he's like, and then it goes on, and then finally he's like, okay, I am a cop. You guys are under arrest. And they're like, we do it. But those are really funny. So that's all I watched. Michael.
Oh, who wants to go next?
You want to close that time, or should we to close it out?
Go for it. I got quite a bit.
Alrighty. Oh well, I knocked 2 off mine because I had whatever the 2 movies we talked about. So I did finish. I've been going through The Office. The only one I'm going to mention from season 4, because I finished season 4, is Dear Lord, the house party episode.
Oh yeah.
and there is 16 extra minutes of this episode on the Superfan things. It's awful. I forget how bad it is. She makes him sleep on the cot at the end of the bed. Like, she has the weird painting of herself on the wall. She has the 2 rooms for her candles. She's a psychopath. That episode is insane.
My favorite part, he's like, oh look, I mounted this TV.
I love the bloopers where they can't not laugh at that. So yeah, that's just, oh my gosh. I had to bring that one up for this.
I forgot about
season
that
of The Office,
one,
man. That
Good
episode is insanity. It's pure insanity.
I don't know how they made it through the filming of that. That is just,
And
oh
then
my God.
she's like dancing to her secretary's album and stuff, and it's just so weird. And she's crying and freaking out. Very just bonkers. It's just The Office, just like focused with its insanity. Anyway,
Jen likes to record and then critique my performance.
Oh, terrible. We finished, Alex, myself, and Anna finished Only Murders in the Building season 3. That show is amazing, and this season was the best of all of them. It's so good. That show is so good. It's quality through and through. Hulu does such a good job with their freaking shows, like that kind of short form, like The Bear, the Patient, whatever it's called. They just have, like, you see that, and it's just like, look, good quality. So check it out if you like that kind of whodunit kind of
Good.
fun stuff. And freaking Steve Martin and Martin Short, man, those two together are just a dream. Movie wise, we jumping into Freaky, which I watched, the Halloween movie where
Heck yeah.
it has Vince Vaughn and gosh dang, I looked at her name's like Claire something or other from Supernatural and Quantumanium, where it's basically
Pokemon movie.
Yeah, I forget she's in the Pokemon movie. But it's basically just it's just Freaky Friday, but with a serial killer and a teenager who's a little awkward at school, even though they're like, oh, you're so ugly or whatever. I'm like that's you can't make someone that pretty, like say it's ugly. Like then she dresses
never
in a
real
jacket.
in
It's like
movies.
that's not real. But like so surprisingly good. This is like the kind of the perfect fun Halloween movie, even though they do take it far. Like the deaths are gruesome, but it's not like that over the top. Oh, we're gonna have everything going everywhere. Like everything was just it was the right amount of sprinkling of everything in this. And like Jared said, watching Vince Vaughn act like a teenage girl is pretty delightful, except for the one scene in the car with the her boyfriend that she gets in the end sucks. One of the worst characters ever. He's this like
I don't remember.
Like she's getting picked on throughout school all this time. He just kind of sitting there like. It's like the girl she likes, or the guy she likes, and then he likes her, but she thinks he's cool, too cool because he's on the football team. Everyone's being mean to her and like picking on her and being rude, and he just kind of stands there and does nothing about it, and she still gets with him. I'm like, no, coward man should have stood up, and no, he's terrible. And then he ends up making out with Vince Vaughn while she's in his body. It's weird, but still a great movie, very very fun. Then
whenever grown men act like teenagers, it's the best.
It is pretty good.
So funny.
I finished a lot of seasons this time. I'm still continuing the show. The show is beyond stupid. Miracle Workers with Daniel Radcliffe, Steve Buscemi, and a couple other actors. I don't know their names. I apologize. But it's on HBO, and it's filmed like some old timey thing. Like they have the whole like when the theme song hits, they have the Daniel Radcliffe as this, and like all the old like looking like they're in Cheers or something. I don't know. But it's just each season, it's like an individual story, but with the same actors. They like the first one, Daniel Radcliffe was an angel and Steve Buscemi was God, but he was really lazy and didn't do anything. And so they're trying to like fix heaven. This one was about a Western where they're traveling to Oregon, it's like the Oregon Trail or whatever.
And we all died of dysentery.
It's got to be one of the dumbest shows, but very very just when you're like uber turn your brain off. It's like past that. That's where it is. But
my dad loves that show.
Slowly finished it. It has its moments, and Daniel Radcliffe dancing in like bondage stripper gear you just can't get that out of your head. It's disturbing, like leather and like weird pieces. Anyway, moving on.
Why does my dad like this show?
Exactly. We already talked about No One Will Save You. So then Thomas and I, on Friday, Carlos was coming over, making Alex and Anna watch Digimon. I did not. I really did not want to watch Digimon, and they're in my house.
Thank you.
So I was like, I need to get out of here. So I looked on Alamo. Nothing was on Alamo. I was like, dang it, nothing's showing. There's Taylor Swift. I can go see that. Whatever. Didn't do it. So
were you gonna see that?
No. I'm curious though because I messaged Ben.
No, don't feed to it, Michael. No. You're making it stronger.
Because Ben wasn't joking in the chat. We did watch the Katy Perry documentary together, so may have to make it a tradition. Anyway, so then I just Googled what is happening in our town in Lubbock, and the first thing that comes up, not the first thing, there's a few things down, but it was like Jekyll and Hyde the musical. I was like, what the heck? So I was like, I think musical. I was like, oh, Thomas. Musical about Jekyll and Hyde. You in? He was like, duh. So Friday night we went and saw a local showing of Jekyll and Hyde the musical. And it's kind of like this. It's a very intimate kind of theater. Just maybe probably 50, maybe close to 100. You could probably fit 100.
About 100, yeah.
Yeah, but it wasn't full. But very well done. Thomas and I both, like everyone in the whole audience. The main chick in this, don't know her name. I apologize. Lubbock. Her voice was incredible. It was incredible. But it's basically it's like Sweeney Todd mixed with Phantom of the Opera. It's kind of a love story with a bunch of goth in it and everything and a bunch of dead people. Super, super well done. The only issue we had was the audio was not well done.
The first act was a little rough.
They had the dialogue too low. But like I was just blown away. And I've heard a few people say this that I've watched interview, like they had their like Instagram channel, people talking about it. And like the lighting was it was almost unbelievable. Like I felt like I wasn't watching something live. And it was just in this simple set, but they'd had these things where he would like be in a chair and everyone's around him. It's very dramatic, it's theater. And like this green light would hit where I was like, that doesn't look quite real. It looks like that was like photoshopped and edited. It was so cool. So
Michael's in the crowd, like, how you do that?
What's your trick?
Well, like when like Hyde and Jekyll are like talking to each other, the lighting changes from like green to red, or sorry, green to blue. Sorry.
Yeah.
And every time that the guy did it, it was on cue every single time. Like the lighting guy did not miss, and I was really impressed with it. So oh my god, the girl though, her name is Mary.
Sure, her pipes, man, she could sing.
Holy,
oh my gosh! Like everyone,
go ahead.
She hit like this kind of like duet solo thing, whatever. And she hit this one point, and literally the people in front of us looked at each other. Thomas and I looked at each other. I'm pretty sure everyone was just like, "That's just chick just do this. Like this is just like a small little theater production." Holy cow!
Yeah, well,
and like across the street, they're doing like the Broadway Lion King at the Buddy Holly Center, and we're like, she needs to be over there.
Yeah. Well, she did this. Okay, she did this duet with this one girl, and this the other girl could sing too.
Definitely,
she wasn't bad, but they did this duet, and I felt so sorry for the other girl. I'm just like, you are way outclassed right now by her.
Yeah, they were both very, very good, but she was on another level than everyone in that production, which is not to put them down because they were all really, really good, but she was like, man, it was very standout.
Like, what's funny is I listened to the Broadway production of it, not even as good.
Really?
Which is, I was just like, I actually prefer her because she was amazing.
She's amazing. Yeah, definitely. A couple more things. I did finish Fiona and Cake. Series wrapped up, 10 episodes. I think it's wrapped up. Very, very good. Like I continued the dark kind of tone, not dark, but just kept like to the more serious stuff. Love what they did with the characters with Simon and everything, and kind of the world he created or that's created by that. Don't want to spoil anything more than that. Then the last thing I watched was the original Haunted Mansion with Eddie Murphy, and I stand by that's a good movie, even though everyone hates it. That's all I watched.
Never seen it.
Thomas, take it away.
So kind of did some hopping around. It's been a chaotic
I jump
week.
around.
Yes, I didn't watch Mrs. Doubtfire. Didn't want to watch a horror movie.
Sorry, real fast. The only two horror movies left I have on my list are for this season: Doctor Sleep and The Barbarian. Thank you. I'm done.
Oh, that new one?
It's like a year old.
Yeah.
Is it okay? Yeah. So anyway, so I rewatched one of my favorite movies since it's spooky season, Arsenic and Old Lace, one with Cary Grant from 1941, I believe.
Whoa.
1940 or 1941. Still hilarious. I love that movie. I really wish I was the kids in those movies because like they give out like trick or treat stuff, and the aunts give out like full pies to like the trick or treaters, and I'm like, dang, I want a pie for trick or treating. Like, can you this 33-year-old get a pie, please? Please.
Gotta go to Tree Trunch's house.
Yeah, let's go. Then I was watching Psych. I watched the musical. Texted Michael about that. Said I can't get that out of my head. And what's funny is that I was watching the musical, and then we went to go watch this. And in the musical, they're doing like a reproduction or a stage production of like Jack the Ripper. And so it's kind of in that same vein. Yeah. So when I was at the theater, I was like, G-Meg, I was singing Psych stuff. I'm on the last episode, and
oh my God,
I know I'm kind of scared.
It's happening.
I might.
Little baby, huh?
It's called The Breakup, and I'm just like, okay, that could mean so many things. And then I'll watch the movies, but like I'm at the last episode. I'm like, man, this is kind of hitting me a little hard. Oh my God. So yeah, did that one. Watch.
We come back and he still.
You don't know my life. Shut up. Watch Jekyll and Hyde. Had a lot of fun. It was awesome. I'm probably gonna go again to like one of their other productions that they have. Then for some reason I was needing something to like watch while I was studying, just because I like to zone out while I study, and I was watching Curb Your Enthusiasm.
That show.
What's funny is I don't really like Seinfeld all that much, but I really like Curb Your Enthusiasm. I don't know why. It's the same. It's basically the same show.
But it's just like the show, but without anything held back. Like Seinfeld held a few things back. Curb Your Enthusiasm is just like, no, we're doing the whole thing my way. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's I don't want to say it's like a fun watch because like everybody's so awful in the show, but it's
a painful
the one
show
part.
to watch.
I got to the one part where he sees his therapist on the beach and he's wearing a very revealing bathing suit. He's like, I can't have him as a therapist anymore because I've seen him like that. And then he's talking to Richard Lewis. He's like, well, I got to break up. I got to like, because Richard Lewis also has him as a therapist. Like, I got to fire him as a therapist. He's like, well, what excuse are you using? He's like, I'm happy. He's like, you can't use that. I'm happy. No, you're not happy. You're miserable. You got to use something. Say you're a Scientologist or something. So, yeah, getting straight A's. So, hey, it's working. Anyway, and then I learned that Paramount Plus has all of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on there. And so I'm kind of rewatching the 2000s series.
2003, I think.
Yeah, and in my opinion, probably the best one. Just it kind of covers everything, and it still stays true to the comics. Yeah, it's a really good show. It's kind of interesting how good it is. So going on to some YouTube stuff. It's funny that Jared says he watched the new Boogeyman. I learned that there was a old Boogeyman short film from like 1982, and I watched that. Not great. Not very good at all, to be honest with you.
Is he made of boogers?
Boogeyman.
A little bit, yeah. A little bit.
A little bit of boogers.
The audio for it, I mean, it was like a YouTube rip, I guess, but even so, it's just like, man, do they not know how to like record audio? So, yeah. I don't know how I want to do this. I'm going to get mocked. I know I'm going to get mocked.
Airsofting again?
Yeah, I got into some airsoft channels just because for the hell of it.
You actually?
Yeah. One called Valiant Airsoft and one called, apparently the United States has an airsoft competition team. Did not know that. Kind of cool. I honestly kind of want to get into it because it seems like fun. You marking the time, Michael, by the way, for these videos?
Clip this.
Okay, so if we get big enough, I want to do a shirt that says fucking airsofter. So just there you go. Put it on there. Do it. I don't know. Not me.
You're not an airsofter yet.
And then Garantham had a whole airsoft like video. It's like a 40-minute video because they did like a 4-day airsoft challenge, which is kind of interesting. But yeah. And then for some reason I got back into Angry Joe. I'd kind of taken a break from him. And I honestly, part of it's because I was playing Callisto Project and I wanted to watch some reviews of it, and his came up and I was like, yeah, this is exactly what I'm thinking about. And that's an angry man. I forgot how angry he gets.
Oh, I watched a guy named Kev do it. He sounds like he's a Let's Player, but he sounds like the fish from SpongeBob. He's got a really deep voice. Like, you know that fish that goes, I thought we taught you this lesson, old man. Sounds like that. It's hilarious. But I started watching him because he's playing Gollum.
Oh, God.
And
no.
He was miserable.
That review is next on my Angry Joe watch list. And I'm just like, oh, no.
But I've been watching some of his videos because he sounds like that fish. And he's pretty funny.
Apparently, Angry Joe did get demonetized from YouTube for like a while because he said the F word too many times in one video.
Well, that'll do it.
I was just like, well, you know. And then the last one I got into was called Bedtime Stories. It's no.
I've seen some of those.
It's a horror channel. What's funny is that what got me into them was I looked up Joseph, I don't know how to say that ship's name. I'll never know how to say that ship's name.
The Orang Madon?
I'm pretty sure you're saying it wrong too, but that, yes. And they had a video on it, and I'd watched a few of their videos before. The one called There's Something in the Desert and There's Something in the Forest. Those are pretty creepy.
Yeah, I've seen some of those. Those are pretty good.
and they have a sister channel called Fire Pit Stories. It's all military ghost stories, and they're all like. What's kind of creepy about that one though is that they have actual soldiers like recounting their experiences overseas. Because like in bedtime stories, it's all like secondhand stuff, and they have like one narrator, that kind of stuff. But in Fire Pit Stories, it's the actual guys who experienced it. So it's like, oh, well, that's a little creepy. Like the Afghanistan stories are like really messed up, but it's a good channel.
I haven't seen much scary stuff this time on YouTube.
Which is surprising for you.
The 13th episode of Salad Fingers out, which was really good, but
Salad Finger?
Yeah, fingers.
Yes, this is his religion.
It's really good.
He waits for the prophet every year.
David Firth
comes.
He's like if Meat Cannon was even darker.
I got the spoons. I like to feel the rust between my fingernails. Yes, that's what it is, Michael. So
YouTube
that's
confuses me.
That's it. All right.
Might have an airsoft gun by the next time. Yeah, they come around. So
you have real guns, Thomas. You don't need them soft.
You never know.
Real fast. I was gonna bring this up in our Starfield review, but I didn't.
It's scanning again.
It's not scanning. It's not scanning. What is your favorite? Because I don't play horror games, but what's your favorite horror game? Video game?
Ignalis.
Really?
That one really hit.
Really?
That one really hit hard.
I have that on my list, but I haven't played it yet.
Dead Space 2.
That's good. That's good stuff.
It is good stuff.
Joseph, do you even play horror games?
It's good bonus stuff, is what it is.
I've always wanted to play. There's like an old game on, I think it's NES. No, Super NES called, I don't know, one of those two. It's called like the Clock Tower.
Oh, Clock Tower.
Yeah. Yeah, I always want to play that.
JonTron has a great video about that. Just saying.
Michael?
What are you saying?
That's like one of the hardest questions you could have asked, Joseph.
Really?
I love horror video games. I love them.
That's true. You do.
I'm like, anytime there's a horror game, like, put me in it. Unless it's like, you know.
Oh, PT.
Really?
I like PT a lot.
I feel like PT's overrated.
Whoa.
I feel like it doesn't count.
People lose their mind about PT.
Watch out. Carlos is behind you. Watch out, Michael.
It was a great concept.
It's incredible. Yeah. PT's incredible, but it's like, I never want to play PT again.
Well, mostly the reason I liked PT so much, I had no idea what I was getting into. I don't remember who told me to download. It might have been Carlos. That told me to download it.
I remember at someone's house, and they were like, "Hey, let's watch this guy play PT." And
yeah.
So you can't think of one that's your favorite.
I'm torn between Resident Evil 4 is the classic, obviously.
That's just one of the best games ever made.
Dead Space is just like solid all the way through, amazing. Evil Within 2 is just surprised me, and it's so trippy and wild.
So Carlos and I are doing a let's play of Evil Within 1, and my God,
I told you guys to go to 2.
My God, that game is bad.
I told you to go to 2. It's just.
So, do you have a favorite Dead Space? Do you like 2 more than 1?
I don't remember 2, honestly.
I love 2.
I haven't played 2.
You got the babies.
I love 2.
I remember the babies, but I remember the eyeball part. But
yeah,
I don't remember.
I lived that.
Anything else?
I think Dead Space 1 has
a
the
long
best
time ago when I was 9.
I think Dead Space 1 has the best atmosphere, but 1 has, I think, a better story, and 3, I think it is just the gameplay is way better. So, the same.
Yeah, that's such a difficult one. I think Dead Space is probably the most solid experience of the 3. Resident Evil just has such nostalgia for me for 4. And then Evil Within, I love how twisted it is. Evil Within 2,
oh,
it's crazy.
Biohazard's great. I love Biohazard. Resident Evil. Sorry.
Yeah, we're not Japan,
7.
Thomas. We're not Japan. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Dude, yeah, that one is great. 7 is amazing. It's amazing. But yeah,
I still haven't played 8.
So hard. 8, I think it's overrated.
Still haven't played it.
Well, I got it for $12.
It's not satisfying. Like, the things don't die. Like it's werewolves in this one, and they don't die. Like like fighting them is just kind of a chore. And I've never liked that kind of like bullet spongy kind of enemies when they're the regular ones. Like I like enemies that I feel like I'm progressing, getting through them, like little zombies. Like move on, give me more and weaker ones. I like that, and then give me bosses. But this is like all like the first area is just this kind of survival moment, kind of like 4, where you're waiting for the bell to ring. And
but Evil Within had this mechanic where you had to burn the bodies too, and it was like. No, I don't want to start this. I don't want him to come back up.
The first Resident Evil's like that. If you play with Chris, they have the red zombies, and those things suck. Well, and I remember playing it with Carlos. We were like, why is this way harder than I remember? It turns out Chris, if you play as Chris, that's the secret hard setting.
The hard mode?
Yeah, and I didn't know that. I was just like, I just wanted to pick Chris because I like Chris, but what's going on?
Games.
It was just recently the anniversary of Raccoon City getting destroyed. So there you go. All right. I think that's going to do it for this episode. Any last words?
That's it.
No? All right.
Scan.
So go scan some stuff. Like, subscribe, and notify yourself for even more good stuff to come. And we will see you next time. Bye.